everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version to our YouTube channel, so you can check that out. My name is Vetta, and as always, I am joined by my brother Matt.
Hi, you guys.
And this month's theme is double features, and on this episode, we are going to be talking about the 1982 and the 2011 The Thing. Now, before we get started,
go ahead.
So for all of our other double features this month, we have done an original and a remake.
Right.
So I had never seen the 2011 The Thing.
I'm in the same boat.
And so it did not say that it was not a remake. I thought it was. It is not. It is a prequel. So instead of doing the original remake, we're just going to discuss both movies at the same time because they do follow. I mean, it is a really good prequel. I say.
Agree. Yeah. I thought I would hate it, but it was good.
Yeah. I didn't hate it, and it did a really good job of lining up with the 82 version.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. It just melded together. It was really good.
So before we get started, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm lazy and I'm just drinking sangria because we had it in the house and it's red like blood and like all those little creatures get all gross and bloody and stuff. So I was just like, I'm just gonna drink this and I'll get fancy next time.
I was gonna make nothing special like drink wise. I am just drinking a rum and coke, but I was gonna get like some of those sour straws, like they're like, and I was gonna have them like a bunch of them in my drink and drinking out of them. But I ate them.
Right on. So. Totally understandable. Like they were the tentacles from those creatures. Can I just say something about these movies? These movies made me itch. Like every time a creature would show up, I was like, oh, this is making me itch. I don't like it at all. Because they were all like gnarly and shit. And I was like, ew, I don't like it.
And even for the 82 version, when you compare the monster and the effects from the 82 to the 2011, they were both done very well and very similar. And I mean, maybe they went into that as the 2011 to make them. The only difference is the 82 version had green stuff inside of them. And the 2011 did not.
Right on.
So when both movies open, in the Arctic or Antarctica, because that's where this takes place.
Right.
The 82 version opens up the way the 2011 ends, with the guy in the helicopter chasing the dog and shooting him. Can we talk about how shitty this guy's
Oh my God, right? Like, I'm like, this guy isn't flying that bad.
Lars's aim is just terrible. And the dog doesn't try to zig and zag. He's not jumping. He's a straight shooter, like running.
Yeah.
And
he was like Rinkin from Game of Thrones. He was just running a straight line. You're like, tuck and roll. Rickon.
There was
whatever
nothing.
That fucker's name is. Yeah, I agree. Like, I was just all like, man, this guy sucks at shooting. Like, I mean, like, I'm not like a proficient marksman, but I could probably do better than this asshole.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the helicopter was going up and down.
That's what I said. Yeah, I was watching. I was like, he's not dipping and diving, asshole. He's not doing a loop-de-loop? Why are you missing?
No wind there.
Yeah, exactly. Can we talk about the beginning of the 2011 version, the prequel? Okay.
They're in like a snowcat or something.
Yeah, whatever that box was. Yeah, that box was with a train on it. I love how they go into that crevice so far down. And I'm all like, how did they get out? Like, I'm all like, did they explain that? I don't remember if they explained it, but I'm just like, how did they get out of that crevice? And how did they not? What?
They had the ladders. Didn't you see them going down the ladders? My assumption is they climb back up the ladders.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you say that now, but I remember it now, but I didn't remember it then. Okay.
You've been drinking.
Also, I want to ask you a question. So Kate, I love how when they go, that guy, Sven or whatever the fuck his name was, went to ask Kate to join their little project because they needed a paleontologist. Was she a paleontologist? It doesn't matter.
A veterinarian paleontologist or something like that. I don't know what the exact.
So I liked how she was like, tell me all the details. And he's like, this is all I can tell you. And she's like, all right, I'll go. I'm like, fuck that noise. I'd be like, no, I ain't going. There's more on a Twitter profile than what you just told me.
And he never said how much she was getting paid.
Right? I'm all like, sister, if you're gonna do something, get paid, especially if your life's on the line.
You're going to Antarctica, where on the warmest day of the year, it's like
Yeah.
65 degrees. And on the coldest day of the year, it's like negative 125,
Right. Yeah.
you know? So I'm going, I get the impression this is the warmer time of the year because she goes
Yeah.
outside without a coat on.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but I'm still going, you did not discuss money. And if
Yeah.
I'm going to
That's a
be
good point.
cold, I want to know how much you're paying me.
Yeah, for sure. And then, ugh, I did like the look of the spaceship, though. I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, and I love how in the 82 version, our hero is Kurt Russell.
Oh my God, I love Kurt Russell.
I love Kurt Russell. And his movies in the 80s were just, beautiful.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. I also do like that Elizabeth wins Sarah Elizabeth
Mary
wins
Elizabeth
Mary Elizabeth.
Winstead.
Oh, I've been drinking. You know how I am with names.
But I love how they're both like the main characters
Yeah.
that kick the aliens' asses.
Yeah, except for excuse me. Except for do you think she died at the end like Kurt Russell did? Did you get that Kurt Russell died at the end? I got that he died.
I got that everybody dies. Because
Okay.
when she's sitting there, I think she's contemplating going back. But do you think at some point she's like, am I really going to
Going to
do
chance
this?
it.
Yeah.
I feel you.
The alien could be in me.
True, that's
And
so true. But she should have at least maybe tried to get a message out. Like my whole thing is just like, because what did the one dude Blythe or whatever his name is from the original one, didn't he process on that beautiful computer that it would be like it would
oh,
be
Dr.
70,
Blair.
yeah, it would be like 72% of the world would be like,
Yeah, 75% of the world would get infected within a certain amount of time or
yeah, I thought
whatever.
he said a month, but I'm all like,
I
I wasn't paying
loved that
attention.
he had a um computer that he was running algorithms on to
Right,
figure this shit out in the
right.
80s.
Yeah, it
Amazing.
was so good. I was like, man, I would
Oh.
love that computer. Or if
And then
like,
Kurt Russell's playing, chess on his.
right, yeah, exactly. So good, so good.
So good.
I just like also how everybody in these movies is like, I'm not the bad guy, and I'd be like, no, you're all the fucking bad guy. I don't trust any of you. I'm finding a room and I'm locking myself in it. It's gonna have food in it, so it's gonna be the food room.
Which is what Dr. Blair did, but we
That is
didn't
true.
know that
Yeah,
he was already infected at the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But he had the right idea. And Lars does it in the
That's
2011.
true. That's true.
I'm like,
Doesn't he?
Lars was smart for not
Yeah,
speaking English.
right, for sure, for sure. Okay, so the 2011 version, I did like how they did the whole this organism can't repeat metal in your body.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
can
like,
only
ooh,
replicate organic
yeah.
materials.
Oh, wait, real quick, do you think the alien in that big ice cube was infected, or do you think that like the alien that was in that spaceship it got infected by this parasite and then became a gross parasite alien, or do you think that the alien in there was the gross parasite?
I don't know because we never get a real what does it look like.
That's true. Okay,
I think
so
that would be a easier decision made if we ever got like a actual what it looked like. Because even
right.
when it's in the people, like
They put the
he
parasite in the people. The people did not want the parasite in them. That was
yeah.
my Bill Cosby impression.
But my whole thing is in the 2011 they're all like show me your molars so I can see if you
Yeah.
had
Oh,
fillings.
I would have
And
been like, I'd have been like, ah, ah,
I would
ah.
have been like, check it out, check it
I'd
out.
have just been like, I'm going to walk around like this all day. And if I'm not walking around like that, it's not me. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I loved
But they
how
never
Kate,
double check them. They never
right?
recheck
Yeah,
anybody. I
yeah,
would be checking every time you left the room when to get
right,
back in and open.
right. Yeah, I did think it was clever how they got the blood from everybody and she like touched the metal to it and like
Oh,
electrocuted and it was
that
like,
was Kurt Russell in
oh yeah, yeah,
the
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
82. Yeah, that was really smart.
That was good. Yeah, that was really, really good. Also, okay, so when Kate's all like, somebody was in the shower and they cleaned up the blood splatter and everything, and then that one girl, I don't remember her name, she was all like, I saw, CODIS go and come out of the bathroom, and then you came and said that it was clean, and they're like, oh, let's go check it out. I'd be like, don't go anywhere with Kate or Sarah's infected, and then she was like and everything, and I was like,
You
ah, shit.
in
And then
these
she
types
started
of movies, you should never go anywhere with one
anywhere.
other person. You should be, there's no buddy system. It should be like a threesome system. You have to be with two other
Especially
people just so you have someone to trip as you're running away.
Exactly. Especially if it's in a situation like this. Like if
Yeah.
I was in the Antarctica, I know it's never going to happen. I'm not going to the fucking Antarctica. If I was ever in the Antarctica and they were like, there's a homicidal parasite getting into people, let's go check it out. I'd be like, no. I'd be like, I'm going to stay right fucking here. Because that first one was in an ice cube outside. So I'm just going to let it go outside and hang out there. So
Yeah.
I
There are a
also,
lot of movies. Can I just tell you,
yep,
there are a ton of movies about things being buried in the ice in Antarctica.
for sure. And they're like, let's dig it up. And I'm like, why don't you don't? How
I'm
about
like,
that?
all these aliens clearly have bad navigational
Exactly right.
skills.
That's so true. That's so true.
Great technology to get here.
Yeah.
Terrible navigation.
Yeah. So I also liked when that black guy came in and he was all like, the alien got free, and they're like, ah ha ha, there's Chuck being old Chuck again. I'm like, why would Chuck do that? Like Chuck is not that type of dude. I mean, I don't understand why you're thinking that.
Well, we don't really know him that well, and I
I
think his
did
name's Carter. I'm not
whatever.
100%.
You know how I
I
am with
could
the
be wrong.
names.
But
I'm sorry I keep jumping around all the place
no,
because there
no,
were
you're
times
fine.
when I was just like, ooh, and everything. Every time the creature showed up in its little weird forms, I was just like, ooh, this is making me itch. So the other thing, I felt bad for the beardy guy that was in Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
because he was trying to help that one dude, and that arm just like I was like, oh my god! And he was just, why are all of them like, I'm like, no, somebody help him stab it or something. And then I also loved how the alien like flopped over on that blonde dude, and the blonde dude's like, no, and I'm like, don't let it touch, and then it like melded its face together. I'm like, ew, this is gross.
Well, and that's the body they find in 82 and bring
Yes,
back to the US
right.
station. I didn't know every country had a station on
I know,
Antarctica,
right?
but according to this movie, they
Yeah,
do.
right, right.
Because they talk about the Russian station at one point, and we're at the Norwegian station in the 2011, and in the 82 they're at the American station.
Right
So
on. One thing that I wish would have carried over to the 80s version was the sequel, I guess you could say, was the metal thing. I wish that would have carried over, but I'm like, I don't know. They probably didn't think about that stuff. And it was still good. I liked it a lot.
yeah, I'm not sure that they thought about that at that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
But it was really smart how they used the cable and the copper wiring and heated
Yeah,
it up and put
that
it
was
in
really
the
good.
blood. Oh, what did you think when that when the blood turned into like the hand to like
Oh,
smack him away?
I was like, ooh, and everything. Yeah, all the little creepies. I
They
didn't like them
close.
at all. Like they
No,
just grossed me out.
but my
But
thing was like with each one after that, because they had that one and they killed that guy, and then they still had to go back and test the other people. They still are, the torch is really close, they're heating it up, and they have the tray in their hand. And I'm like, do you not remember what just happened? The tray can sit on the table while and he's only
right,
got like 2 inches of wire that you could
right.
do 10 feet. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because that thing can be like the blob and just grab you like it did with that arm. That
Oh,
arm,
good.
like yeah, good movie. Maybe we
Love
could
the
do
blood.
those. Although I love
Right?
the remake. Anyways, so I also was like a little bit like ooh, okay. I want to talk about the if you're cool with that. Sorry, I kind of took over.
It's
But
fine. It's
I
fine.
I really did like this movie, both these movies.
I did too. I
Yeah.
did too.
I really was like when they're all looking for that creature and they're shining, like very first scene in that prequel one, and they're shining its light on it, and they're outside, and I'm like, get away from it. It's an alien. Unless it's standing in front of you being like, we come in peace, they do not come in peace. They're coming to
Even when
shoot.
they say they come in peace, they don't mean it. Don't you remember that
Exactly.
TV miniseries V? They
Yeah, I
claimed
love
they
that
came in
series.
peace and they did not.
They did not. They did not. They
No,
were lizard
but
people.
this is my question. So with that whole in the 2011, and they're doing the helicopter and the guy out, and the guy's going with him. Were you surprised by which one was infected?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was the blonde guy the whole time, that with that shitty sweater on. I don't
Yep.
remember his name. I thought it was him the whole time. because I was like, he's acting very weird, and I'm just like, I'm
Well,
not.
and he was infected later,
Yeah, later when
just
the
not
thing
at that
attached itself to his face, I was like, ew.
point.
Okay, so the 80s version, can we talk about the paddles scene? Okay. Because while while watching this part scared me so hardcore and like gave me the itchies since I was a child. Like I fucking hate this part. And I knew it was coming. And I'm just all like, it's like, and I'm all like, ew. And then his head fell off. And I'm all like, and then he turns into a weird Donald Trump spider. And I'm all like, what's going on here? I'm like, I'm not having a good time. I was eating nachos, by the way, when I watched these. Bad choice, because I was like, I do not feel good right now. And so yeah.
Love how when the spider head is leaving the room, it like stops in the doorway to like check, does anyone see me? Why
Right.
would
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
do that?
I
You
mean,
got
it's a
away. Keep
smart spy.
going.
It's a smart Donald Trump head, you know. I
Or
felt
it's
bad
no
at
one ever connected.
I know well, have a few drinks. You'll connect it now. Don't worry. And so I was all like, yeah, he was holding on to that tooth body like Trump holds on to his presidency. Um, I I really did like it. It just gave me the itchies like all over. Like I thought I would just like be like completely grossed out because you know how I am with blood. I'm like and everything and like gooey things, bodily fluids, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
But I
Um
liked most of the kills in the 82 version.
oh yeah, go ahead.
They were just, they, at least in my opinion, for that time with alien movies and things like that, it was an inventive alien.
Yeah,
The way it killed people was, it was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but
right.
nuttier,
Way nuttier.
better.
Yeah, better. I also, speaking of the kills, I want to talk about two more because there was one, first off, in the prequel. I felt bad for Carl when Sarah came. She was all like, I saw, what's his face cleaning up the bathroom. And then she was like changing behind her. And then Kate ran from her. And then she ran in the hallway and the thing was like chasing after her, bumping into walls. And then Carl was just like, hey guys, what's going on? Ah, shit. And then it just stabbed him and started like, immersing with it. And I'm all like, oh, poor Carl. Like that
Wrong
sucks,
place,
dude.
wrong
Yeah,
time. You should not
exactly.
have checked to see what was going on.
Exactly. I was like, Sarah really fucked you up and everything.
Sometimes you just got to mind your own business.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then the one from the 80s that I really felt bad for, because I mean I felt bad for pretty much everybody, but I really felt bad for when he ties them all up to check their like blood, and the guy sitting next to what was his name? Oh, it doesn't even matter, Hans or whatever. They're like, it's Hans, and Hans starts changing, and then he wraps his face around that Windows guy's head, and I'm all like, Windows, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, poor Windows. He didn't have a because they were all like, oh shit, get me out of here. And I'm all like, oh, you guys doomed him to death. Poor Windows.
And then each time after that, one of them's blood was clean. They were like, I'm now. I mean, because
Yeah,
they remember what just happened.
you're right. Exactly. Exactly.
Can we
Um,
talk about too how they all have flamethrowers?
oh
Is that
yeah.
I would love to talk to somebody that lives on Antarctica or is stationed.
Yeah,
Do you get flamethrowers? Are they
exactly.
real? Because then maybe I would go to Antarctica just to get to play with a flamethrower,
Yeah, I
but I
was,
wouldn't stay long.
I
It'd be a
won't
fly
lie.
in and fly out type of deal.
Right, exactly. I won't lie. I didn't think about that while I was watching the movie, but now that you mention it, I'm all like, yeah, they all did have flamethrowers. What's up with that? I mean, like, it's not like there's a wooded area around that you're gonna need to clear or anything. And why would you want to melt this? Isn't it just water underneath? I'm
Yeah,
like,
and I go,
so
aren't we anti the glaciers
right,
melting?
exactly. So I'm
No.
all, yeah, that's a good question. Like, and I would love to talk to somebody that goes to Antarctica on a yearly basis and be like, do you guys have flamethrowers? And are they the
Right?
Tesla ones? Because those are
Yes.
pretty cool.
Are they 3D printed?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
exactly.
are they the big backpack with the things and the
The two
stuff?
canisters and everything.
Right.
Okay, one thing in the 80s version that I didn't fully understand, and maybe you can explain, when Briggs gets in that little cubby hole underneath his cell or whatever, and they find that makeshift
Oh, where he's making the baby ship.
Yeah. What is going on there? Because I was confused. I was like, is he trying to get off the planet? Because that looked like it came from, like, you made it from with parts from Home Depot, ready to go to the Titanic. It did not look
I
professional.
don't think he was going back into space. I think he was just trying to get away.
Right on. And I
And
was just
that's,
like,
but I think he didn't do that until
mhm.
after he was infected, you know,
Man,
because,
he had very little time to make that. That alien was very
or maybe
productive.
he's been infected for a lot longer than we know
I mean,
of.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
But he
Um,
also had the research papers. Remember that
that's
he was like
true. That's
reading,
true.
talking about what he was thinking. And that's when he was like, no one can leave here. And he was breaking all the radios and he locked himself in the room with the gun.
See,
And
I just got that he did that because he knew that this alien would infect all of them and they
yeah.
couldn't risk it.
So
See,
I kind of, do you
go ahead.
think that that was he dug that? Or do you think that the alien was like doing that? Because
I
do you ever get the impression there's more than one? Because it infects so many people at one
I
time.
didn't get that there was more than one until the wolf popped out at the end, and I was like, oh, it's a wolf and everything. I didn't see that fucking wolf. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm all like, I think it was the dude building. Well, I don't know, because it was an alien saucer, and I'm all like, but the ship didn't look like an alien saucer, or at least I didn't think so. So I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know. It just seems very strange. Like I almost wonder if it's not one of those like parasites where it has like a bazillion, it can have a bazillion parasites, but one main parasite can control them all type of deal. I don't know.
Right on. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. Which one was your favorite out of these two?
Oh, I really liked both of them. I really did.
Me too. I
And
Go
as
ahead.
funny as it is, I am not a fan usually of prequels, but I was pleasantly surprised because I do think you could see either one of these movies without seeing the other one and
I
like it.
agree.
But I also go, if you think you're not gonna, that it's gonna ruin it, like say you saw the 2011, you're like, I don't want to see the 82 version, it's gonna ruin it. It won't, I
It
promise
won't.
you,
Yeah,
or
it
vice
won't.
versa. Both of these movies are really good, and I do recommend seeing both of them.
Right on. I agree. I agree. They were, I mean, I do like the original one just a little bit better because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
But I think that that's just from like nostalgia and stuff. But I really love it a lot. Yeah, I can't tell you like
And it's
how,
got Kurt Russell in. I mean, they did do a
yeah, I
really good
love
job
Kurt
on the
Russell.
leads in these movies. I mean, how
Mhm.
many Kurt Russell movies do you say, oh, Kurt Russell's in this? I don't know of a movie that I don't like of his. And the same of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I don't know a movie of hers that I'm like, ugh, that's
I
terrible,
mean,
you
yeah, I
know?
can't think of one off the top of my head. But what that's fine. That's fine. I also enjoy her. Really love her in Kate, which she's named Kate here, and we
Yeah.
reviewed in season 1. So check it out, guys. But yeah, no, I really loved it.
Yeah. All right. Did you have anything else you want? Would you recommend? I should say, would you
I would
recommend?
totally recommend both of them. They're so good. So good.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to add about these?
No, 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 no. I think we've
No.
talked enough. You
Yeah.
especially.
I know. I just chatty Cathy today.
Yeah.
So
We get it from our mother.
I know for
Me
sure.
especially.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're like a bunch of yentas, I tell you.
Such yentas. Oh my God.
All right. So thank you guys so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated on all of our fun shenanigans. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. And it really does help out smaller podcasts like us. We will be posting this video to our YouTube channel, so please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. You can check us out there on YouTube, BS Drunk Movie Reviews. Also, we have started a Patreon. We have plenty of different levels for everyone. We have done the oh boy, I'm losing my
The,
entire
we've done the
brain.
Jurassic Park series.
We did the Bring It On series.
Yeah, we did the Bring It
Um,
On series. And then we're
Let me
now,
tell you guys, there's some stuff to be said about those. Then we
yes,
did the
there is.
Jurassic Park series.
Yep. Coming
Loved
up on the
it.
Sex and the City series.
Yeah, we're doing Sex in the City. Oh, you guys, there's some fun bonuses with that, so you'll want to
For
see
sure.
those. And next we're doing
The
the
Scream
Scream
series. Yep.
series. So join us on our Patreon. There's a
Mm-hmm.
link below.
Yep.
Um, And most important of all, guys, please remember to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, guys.
Bye.